you trying to scale your business to the next level, but you just have no idea what sort of systems and processes you need to set up to make that happen? Well, you're in luck, because in today's episode, we are going to be diving into the top systems that you need to implement into your business to scale to consistent 5K months or beyond. So if that sounds like something you need, make sure to watch this video to the very end, because we go through all of the systems and I'll give you a walkthrough as to how you can set them up. And just quickly, before we dive in, please make sure to hit that subscribe button and the bell so that you get weekly notifications as to when we put out new videos. Okay, let's dive into the goodness.
So in this video, we are going to be talking about the top systems to scale your business. These are going to be for a coaching type business and more for a service-based entrepreneur. So if you're somebody that is a social media manager or podcast manager or whatever that looks like for you, and you're trying to build it more up to like an agency's business type, we're going to be going through both just so that you have options basically in terms of how you want to set up everything. Basically, the systems that really are going to help you to scale, first of all, is having your Google Drive set up properly. Secondly, your communication with your team and with your clients is very, very important to have that streamlined so that it's not taking up so much time every single day, sending emails or whatever that is. Next is project management, then your social media content, and then also client onboarding is something that's really, really important. And people tend to forget the client onboarding one, but if you can automate that and you can set up a system for that, it's so much easier. So much easier. So firstly, we're going to go through Google Drive setup. This is my Google Drive for my personal brand, as you can see here. So like my coaching business. These are sort of the top level folders that I have in here. And then we'll be able to dive deeper into these folders in a second. So business networking, that's from a couple of like live events that I was doing. My coaching, this is documents that I've completed for online programs that I've done or other coaching or courses that I've completed. This is all of my digital assets in terms of logos, my YouTube intro, my YouTube outro, my podcast intro and outro, basically all of the digital assets that my team might need. Podcast, marketing, my launch calendar, financial tracking, social media, speaking, the Soul Purpose program, which is my mindset program that you guys have access to, time tracker, and my website. So these are sort of like the main areas in my business that I need to have sort of higher level folders for. And then once I go into those folders, I can have subfolders that are relevant for whatever that thing is. So for example, if we dive into the podcast folder, cool. So you can see here, so like obviously, well, you guys probably know, but I recently sold my part of a digital marketing agency. They were like, before that, my team for my marketing agency was producing my podcast. Now we've recently taken over and I've built my own team for that. So we have all of the podcast episodes here that we have edited, the intro and outro as well, random podcast documents that I've sort of created with different ideas for episodes and like the words for the intro and the outro. But if we dive into one of these subfolders, then you'll be able to see everything that we need for the podcast episode it's kept in this folder. So anytime that anyone needs access to it, it's in this folder. So we've got the audiogram, the audio file, the episode outline that I write before I record, and then this is the show notes that my podcast manager writes. So as you can see, like obviously as we go down the folders, it gets into more and more detail as to what we need, but it's fantastic to have all of the episodes separated like this so that it's very easy. We don't have any documents just really floating around anywhere. They're all organized, numbered in accordance with the podcast episodes. So it's very easy if anyone needs to come in and get the audiogram and post it to Instagram, or to upload the show notes, or to write the show notes based off my episode outline. It's all there ready to go. So in any type of business that you're building, your Google Drive needs to be super, super organized. Try not to have too many floating documents down the bottom here. Try to have everything categorized, unless like this, for example, this is like my old resume from 2019. So like obviously I'm not really going to be bothered to make just a folder for my resumes because now I have my own businesses and it's like so not relevant anymore. But who knows, maybe one day I will need my resume. So I'm gonna keep that in there. But anyway, basically, so for example, I will show you in my coaching folder. Within my coaching folder, I have a couple of different subfolders. So these are different programs that I have either launched, like not publicly, privately to people, or I've launched publicly. This is my sales and lead generation tracking for my coaching business, which we'll go more into. So basically, in terms of my sales and lead tracking, we have all of my DM scripts here that I have crafted, and we have my coaching sales call spreadsheet. So any call that I have, I basically will go in and make notes on that call and just record it into this spreadsheet. And you guys have access to all of these documents as well. And my ideal client tracker, basically, if I find someone on social media, or if my virtual assistant finds someone on social media and they think, yep, this person would be a perfect ideal client, they just put their details into this tracker so that we can follow up with them over time and we can start to build a relationship with them. And it's all tracked in a spreadsheet so that it's ready to go. And this spreadsheet also links to my monday.com. So I've set up a Zapier link that links these two things so that it's also in my project management system so that we can keep track at like a higher level view and just get a quick overview at once, or we can dive deeper and go into this specific spreadsheet right here. So obviously, like within coaching, I have different programs that I've outlined. I've got my sales, I've got my contracts for my coaching programs. This is a folder just for one of my private clients, and my staff for my coaching. Anyone that's helping me. So I have 5 team members now that are helping me with my coaching business, and so all the stuff to do with those staff members is in that folder there. Obviously, like you're probably also going to want to have a social media folder. So within this folder, this is where I keep like my content calendars, which I'll take you through in a second or in a minute, but basically this is where I keep all of my content in there. This is edited images to use, quotes and graphics that we can post, Instagram thumbnails, podcasts, graphics and quotes, podcast guests, and podcast snippets. These are just sort of graphics and IGTVs that I was posting a while ago. We're not really posting them that much anymore, but we still just keep the library in there in case I ever need it for anything. But yeah, basically you just need to work out, like for example, if you're a coach and you are starting to maybe hire a team or look at building out these systems and these processes, sit down and brainstorm what different systems and processes you think you need to set up. And this is part of this week's workbook, brainstorming what you need to set up. And then we can go ahead and start creating these folders for everything that you think that you need. So realistically, like let's say if you're a coach, you'll probably have a coaching folder. You would have financial tracking would be super relevant, your launch calendar. And if you're not already doing launching, I'm going to teach you about it. So we'll be able to do that. Marketing, podcast, if you have that. Digital assets is super important because that's where all of your branded content needs to go. Time tracking, I'm going to take you through that as well in this program. So if you haven't ever tracked your time, we'll do that. And maybe some stuff like if you have the copy that goes on your website, you won't necessarily need like, this is for my online course. Maybe you won't need like speaking or business networking or courses that you've complete. Just depends on what you have already in your business and what you think that you're going to need moving forwards. So that's for my personal brand, but I also want to show you for Outsource Monkey, for my virtual assistant agency, the higher level folders are a lot more simple, but then the subfolders, there's a lot more detail in those. So we literally have clients, marketing, standard operating procedures, and weekly updates. So I will just show you maybe standard operating procedures. So within this folder, within our SOP folder, we have client onboarding documentation. So this has all of our contracts, basically anything to do with onboarding a client. So it has standard email templates that we can use in there, completed client contracts. Then we have like, this is just a blank contract here. This is our partnership agreement. This is like the script for onboarding like a new client. We have sort of a basic script of things that we need to outline and make sure that we definitely go through on a call with a client once they've said yes, they definitely want to work with us. So that's sort of the client onboarding docs. And then in terms of sales, we're doing a few different sort of marketing and sales things at the moment. So we actually have a full-time sales rep that works for us, making calls and doing Instagram outreach and helping us with emails and a few different things. So we obviously have like emails that they need to send, messages for socials, sales script, and then sales tracking and list tracking spreadsheet. So basically every day the sales rep needs to build a list of maybe, let's say, 40 to 50 people, and then she'll go ahead and call those people and ask them if they would be interested in using a virtual assistant using Outsource Monkey. And then this is just like the sales rep daily tasks, basically what they need to do on a daily basis and their KPIs included in that. So our sales rep is hired on a commission basis, so she gets a standard monthly wage, and then for every booking that she gets us in our calendar, she gets a commission for that as well. So that really ensures that we know that she's always going to be working hard and trying to actually get us bookings, because her position is a commission-based position. So that's our sales one. Then we have staff and contracts. So in here, we obviously have all of the contracts for our staff. We have job descriptions. Definitely always keep a folder for these, because, for example, if you write up a job description just in like a job platform and you don't save it in your Google Drive and then it doesn't work out with the first person that you hire, then it's annoying because you have to retype it again. So keep everything documented in here. We have forms, and you'll get access to this: monthly invoicing and leave requests. So there's a form that people need to fill out to submit their monthly invoice, and also their form for their leave request. Onboarding for staff, standard emails for hiring, training videos, and our VA database. So I'm going to give you guys access to all of these things. I will show you in a second, but I just wanted to give you like higher level view sort of. This is just some graphics that we can use for like if we need to post the job in a Facebook group or whatever it is. And this is our hiring process, basically our workflow of hiring. So having all of this stuff documented, starting to build this out, like we had pretty much all of this set up right from the get-go, because I knew what we needed to do to be able to build this agency and to have all of the systems and the processes set up properly. So you can start to do the same, and maybe like right now, your VA database, you won't have one, but make a folder and copy the spreadsheet that I'm going to give you access to anyway, so that when you do start to hire people, it's all already in your Google Drive and you don't have to worry about it. Okay, that's just training videos and documentation. So obviously, like anytime you record yourself, like a Zoom recording or a Loom like this, just pop it all into one folder so that anyone joining your team that needs to know how to do anything, they can just jump into one folder to be able to look at that. So that's the SOP folder. Clients, I think we don't have much in there. Yeah, so pretty much all of our clients, and I'll show you in a second. But what we started doing, we were keeping details of what the clients needed in that client folder, but we actually have put it now into their contract when they get started. So we've outlined the tasks in the contract as to what the virtual assistant needs to be doing, because we just had a couple of issues with clients expecting their VA to be able to do things that they actually couldn't do, and they didn't outline that before they began. So we always put it in the contract now, just to make sure that it's very transparent for both. So as you can see, like it doesn't need to be very complicated in terms of your Google Drive setup. It can be super, super simple. And what I'm going to show you right now is, so you will have access to this library basically of plug and play resources that you will be able to use in your business. You can literally copy all of these documents, make a copy of them. You have access to all of them through this program, and you'll be able to copy and sort of change them and implement them, any of them, into your business. So I'm just going to quickly outline what you have access to. These are just documents that you have access to that aren't necessarily relevant to stuff that we're teaching in the other weeks. So for example, in here, you don't have any documents that are relevant to sales or Instagram DMs or LinkedIn DMs, because we're going to be going over sales in the 4th week. So I don't want to give you too much this week and for you to get overwhelmed, and then it will all seem like just too stressful. I want to give it to you sort of bit by bit, but these are this is basically just an overview. So checklists to send before sending content to a client. So things like making sure that there's no mistakes in terms of spelling, or the graphics are all created properly, or it's all in alignment with their tone of voice, stuff like that. So this is just checklists before sending content, perfect if you're a social media manager. Client onboarding, very, very important. And I'm going to be taking you through in a little bit more detail how you can sort of systemize your client onboarding in a little bit, but let me just go through these first. This is an example of a product suite and packages for a social media marketing agency. So I just got my old packages from my old agency, and I've put the details in here just so that you can base it and see and know if you're pricing yourself correctly. Standard email responses. So if you get a virtual assistant to take over your inbox, these are some standard email responses you might be able to take some inspiration from, or sort of copy and just change parts for your own. Examples of client onboarding documentation. Feedback forms. So at the end of every month, or maybe 2 months, you can send feedback forms to your clients and ask them for a review. Financial tracking, market research, there's a form in there, and we'll go into a little bit more detail about market research in the later weeks. A marketing plan, your monthly feedback form, some sales stuff. This is some details if you want to start hiring a sales team to really take care of the sales for you. Sales tracking sheet. So obviously I mentioned before, after I have a call, every time I finish a call with a prospect, basically I will go ahead and fill in this tracking sheet just to make sure that it's all in one spot. This is a form that you can get people to fill in before they have a strategy session with you, or before like you have that first initial call with them. You obviously would need to change the questions in here based off your business, but it's a good outline for you to base your questionnaire off. This is an example of a list building worksheet. So if you were to hire somebody to help you with your sales or marketing, you could get them to start building up a list of potential businesses or people that you wanted to work with that you can then email and reach out to, or DM, or send a LinkedIn message, or whatever that looks like for you. Application process. If you want somebody to actually apply to work with you, you don't want to just like straight away give them access. And then sales scripts are in here. So there is some documents on sales in here, but also in the week that we're focusing on marketing and selling, there's also going to be a lot more. So yeah, that's why I didn't put it all in, because I didn't want to overwhelm you. I remember it was too much. Systems to scale. So this is basically some of the stuff that we're covering in here will be outlined in its freebie that I've created, and I just wanted to give you all access to that. So it will have more detail, and it will all be written out in a nice pretty document in here. And then the Bible document. So I think it's the video after this one. I'm going to take you through how to create a Bible document. You'll see in the video what I mean by a Bible document. It's just like a weird little thing that I do. But anyway, these are all the plug and play systems that I think you need access to this week. Moving forwards, you are also going to get access to a lot more resources. Like every week there's literally like hundreds of resources that you have access to with this program. But for this week, in terms of focusing on setting up systems and processes and starting to get some of these things documented, like email responses or feedback forms or financial tracking or market research or whatever that is, I wanted to give you access to all of that. So these are your plug and play resources. Have a look through each of these folders, go through, see which ones you think would be relevant for your business, and then literally just make a copy of them and then start to use it in your business. I'm pretty sure I've changed the access on all of it so you can only view and you have to make a copy, but if I haven't, please don't edit my original document. Just make a copy of it, and then we'll be able to all keep our own versions. Cool. Okay, so that's basically a bit of an overview of how you can set up Google Drive for like a coaching style business, or like more of an agency type business, if that's what you're going for. Now, the next thing I want to dive into, and the next thing that I think is really important to systemize, is your project management. So I use Monday.com, and we're going to be going through project management. Basically, there's a week where we're talking about productivity and project management. So I'm not going to dive too deep into it now, but if you don't already have a project management system set up, this is like a super, super, super important thing that you need to get set up ASAP. If you don't want to pay for a subscription like Monday.com, that's completely fine. You can use Asana. I like Monday.com just because the capabilities and the automations that you can use in Monday are so much better than in Asana. Like you can literally set it up, like you see up here, you can click this automate button, and there are so many different automations that you can use. So you click add new automation. I just give you like a quick overview basically. You can automate it so it creates new tasks when something else is complete. You can automate so much stuff. And it's so important, even if you don't have a team yet, you need to start to set this up so that you can get everything out of your head. You don't want to be remembering every month, like when one person's content is due or when another person's Instagram stories need to go live. Like put everything into one project management system, into one place so that it's easy and you don't have to stress about remembering what you need to do. So that's the second system you really need to make sure that you have set up if you want to be able to scale your business. And if you want to jump ahead and if you want to watch the Asana tutorial or the Monday.com tutorial from the project management week, that's completely fine. I'm not against that. I'll go into a lot more detail in those videos about how to set them up and what projects you need to have in those systems. So go ahead and watch that if you want to, but if not, just keep in mind that in the coming weeks, you will be setting up a project management system no matter what, if you don't already have one. The next thing that's very, very important that you need to set up is seamless communication with your team and with your clients. So I use Slack. You can download it here onto your desktop. And the great thing about Slack is you can add in separate workspaces to the one like Slack account, I guess. So I have like Outsource Monkey team, I have Outsource Monkey clients, and then I have my coaching clients, and then I have Team Taylor. So I'll show you this one, for example. With our agency account, we have created private Slack channels between every virtual assistant and every client so that they can talk about whatever they need. They can talk about the projects they're working on or the tasks they need to be doing and send updates and send links and content and whatever that looks like for you. If you don't necessarily have a team yet, I still recommend setting up everyone in a Slack channel, all of your clients, because it's just so much faster to be able to talk to people in one channel as opposed to having to reply to emails every day, and it's like a lot slower and more time consuming. I feel like when you have people in a Slack channel and they can get this sort of like instant answer, it also helps to improve that client happiness experience, because if they can get an answer in like a few hours versus like waiting a day or two for a reply on an email, they're going to be a lot happier with your services or your product, whatever you're offering. So I definitely recommend like having all of your clients in a Slack channel. Make private little Slack channels between you and the client or whoever is going to be helping them with their project. So if you have hired a social media manager, add yourself into the channel, obviously, so you can monitor everything all the time, but add the social media manager, the client, and yourself so that you guys will know, and if they have any questions, they'll be able to send it there. You'll be able to get approval for your content a lot quicker. It's just going to help to streamline everything. So in terms of your client communication, add everyone into a Slack channel and it's so much easier. Same with your team. So with our Outsource Monkey team, so we have some sort of like general channels. So hiring, this is just like a general Outsource Monkey one, sales and website development. But besides that, you need to add in your team members just in case they need to DM you about something that you don't want the clients to see. So for example, like monthly invoicing, you obviously don't want the clients to be seeing anything that you're chatting about monthly invoicing, or if you're having a team meeting and you need everyone to attend the team meeting, like you can just post it in here, see here, like please remember team meeting is on today, so it's our last one for the year, and there's the Zoom link. So you can chat about basically any team stuff in this team channel, and then you can set up a separate channel for your clients so that you can chat to the clients about anything that they need to talk about. So that is how you set up a seamless communication with your team and with your clients so that it just makes everyone's life easier. The next thing that I want to talk about is content, and I am going to be diving into this in a little bit more detail. I think it's the marketing week, because content obviously counts as a type of marketing. But I just wanted to quickly go over this content calendar, which you'll get access to. It'll be a document, a resource in that week, the marketing and selling week, under the video where I go into more detail. But in terms of having a system and a process for your content, so this is what I want you to do. So obviously you can have your hashtags that whoever's writing your content, if you're still writing it yourself, have them all in one place so that it's super easy for you to reference back to that and to be able to paste it into the captions. So then you have a monthly overview where you can talk about one weekly takeaway every week, or one lesson that you want to teach people every week. This is where you put that. So obviously you can see like my weekly takeaways are there. Then you have different ideas. So you can brainstorm, like before you actually start writing your content, brainstorm different ideas that you might be able to talk about this week. And then in this calendar over here, we can put any sort of basically like anchor point or anything that's happening besides like your regular content that's going on. So for example, like new podcast episodes, emails that are going out, if you have a sale that's ending, or yeah, it's basically just a great way for you, or like if you're running a workshop, it's just a great way for you and your team to have a higher level view of what is going on in your business in terms of content for that month. Then within each week, you need to write your captions and put your ideas here for stories. So stories go up here, and then every week your captions will go here. I will take you through the process of how to write these captions in the marketing week. So you don't need to stress about it too much now, and you can get a virtual assistant or your social media manager to use this calendar, and it just helps to have it all in one place. It's very streamlined. You can do 2 weeks at a time, or you can do 4 weeks at a time, just so that it's all in one place. And then whoever's scheduling your content, hopefully it's not you, but if it is, it still makes it easier for you. But whoever, if you have a virtual assistant scheduling your content, then they will be able to just jump into this and know exactly what they need to be posting on what days. There's no questions to be asked. Just give them this document. It'll have the link to the image or the video. Everything's all outlined in this. So that is just a little bit of a brief overview in terms of content. The last thing that I want to talk about is client onboarding. So I'm going to show you what it looks like for Outsource Monkey, what our client onboarding or what our client experience looks like in terms of our sales funnel. So basically we have this sales funnel where we have new leads for Damo, new leads for me. We have a couple of people that are ready to sign up in the new year, so we've made a column for those people. This is people that booking confirmed. This is where we need to find them a virtual assistant, awaiting business information, sending the contract, their signature, and then this is where we've sold the service to all of these people. So basically why I'm showing you this is because if you can put it into a system like this one's called Go High Level, which I like for if you're not somebody that wants to build out a lot of sales funnels and have a lot of different online products and stuff like that, then this is great for you. I don't use Go High Level for my business because the capabilities of the funnels are not what I need. Like I like to have, if I have a freebie, then I'll have an upsell and then I'll have a downsell, which we'll go over in the following weeks. So that's why I don't use Go High Level for my personal brand. But in terms of managing leads, it's great if you're building an agency style of business. So we have automated emails that get sent to people every time we drag, because we can literally just like drag these things around. So every time we drag someone into the next column along, there's automated emails that get sent to them based on whatever stage they are at in their business. If you don't want to pay for a system like this to do it, what I would recommend is no matter if you have a coaching business or an agency or whatever type of business you have, I recommend that you have the capability for somebody to sign up to your services on a website of some sort, just even if it's one page that literally just has a checkout and you've sort of already pre-created the products and the services that can be sold to these people, then you can set up an automation. So whenever that product gets sold, it sends them an invoice from Stripe or PayPal. It will send them a contract where they need to fill in their details, and it will maybe have like a blank section or a drop-down section for what package they get started on. And then it can start to send them automated emails about your agency or your business and what the things that they might need to know. So it could be a referral program, or it could be a document that they need to fill in with all of their login information, and you need to request their logos and their branded colors, or whatever that looks like for you. Maybe you need to ask them for their podcast intro and outro, or whatever it is. But setting up automated welcoming emails and email sequence to take people through that onboarding process in a dripped, like, don't send it all to them on one day. Drip it out over their first week so that it's not too much information for them to digest at once, and so that they know that you do have a great referral program, or that they know they need to send you their colors and login details ASAP, or whatever it is for you and your specific business. But automating that process makes it so much easier for you, because then you don't have to remember, oh, they signed up 3 days ago, which email am I supposed to send? Or like, they signed up yesterday, have I sent the contract yet? Or whatever it is. You can just automate it all. And you can use a great program called Zapier. If you don't already know Zapier, oh my God, go and just like have a look at the automations that they have. It makes me so excited when I literally log into Zapier and I'm like, oh my God, I can do that? No way. Like, the amount of stuff that you can get a computer to do is insane. And we're going to go into that in one of the later weeks. We're going to go over all of the automations that I have set up. But basically, definitely go and check out Zapier. I might just show you their homepage. You can connect so many different softwares and programs, and you basically have to choose a trigger. So like right here, when I get a new Gmail, the action is copy the attachment from the Gmail to Dropbox and then alert me in Slack of the new Dropbox file. Like, how cool is that? When you get an email, if it has an attachment, it's going to upload it into your Dropbox, and then it's going to send you a message in Slack saying, hey, there's a new file that's been uploaded into Dropbox. So freaking cool. It saves you so much time. So go and have a look around Zapier. If you haven't ever heard of it, it's like so fantastic. I love it. There's literally so many things that you can connect. Like, look at this, 2,000 apps. You can connect 2,000 different apps for this. Insane. So in terms of like setting up your client onboarding, if you wanted to integrate Stripe and Gmail, that would be completely fine. So you could make it, or PayPal, you can make it Stripe or PayPal. When you receive a payment in Stripe and PayPal, then the action would be send them this email sequence, or send them a calendar invite to book a call, or create a task in my project management system, in my Asana or in my Monday.com. It's amazing the amount of stuff that you can automate using Zapier. So dive into that, have a look and see if there's different things that you can use. Those are basically the top systems that you're going to need to start to think about implementing into your business if you want to be able to scale. So just to sort of give you a brief summary again, it was your Google Drive, your communication with your clients and your team members, your project management system, your content, and your client onboarding. And we're going to be going into detail, a lot more detail about a lot of those in the later weeks. But particularly this week, I want you to really focus on setting up those Google Drive folders, starting to record some training documents for your Bible doc, which I think is the next video. So go ahead and watch that after this one. We're starting to brainstorm and think of ideas as to different things that you can set up in your business so that when you do hire your first team member or bring people into your team, you'll be able to really scale very quickly because you've already got all of this stuff set up. You don't have to set it up as you go and as you build. Let's just start setting it up now so that when you do hire somebody or when you bring someone new on, if you've already got your first person, then it's just all easy and it's ready to go.
Okay, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found a lot of value in seeing the top systems that I think you need to be able to scale your business to consistent 5K months and beyond. So if you did find it valuable, please make sure to hit the like button under the video or subscribe. Please leave me any comments if you have any questions. And until the next episode, I'll see you later. Bye.